Morning. How are you, sir?
Morning, Dave. Doing well.
You
Doing well.
sound really
Ready to
good
talk
with that
about
mic.
Monday.
I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, our star media team was able to provide me with some better recommendations than just my AirPods. So we're
It's a good thing we
I'm
have a.
slowly but
Go
surely
ahead.
getting there.
Well, it's a good thing we have a on our social media team a Twitch streamer who has an incredible following named Maddie Bops. Her clear identity will remain nameless at this time. Let me fix your. There, you look good now. Nice.
Yeah, she's like our Jamie to Joe Rogan, and
Okay. Yeah.
or if you watch Josh Pate at all, the stat guy, producer Jesse. Everybody's got to have their behind the scenes person, and Maddie Bops is that.
She is Maddie Bops, the legendary Maddie Bops. All right, let me get my Stream Deck. Let's see about this. Let me take it off studio mode. How about this? Look at this new little layout we got here, huh? What do you think? What do you think about
Look at
this?
that.
How about this?
Yeah. Well, I'm having to see it on the live stream in 3-second tape delay because I can't see it on our screen. So
Oh, well,
if you're asking me how about this, I don't have an answer for you, Dave.
I can fix that actually.
It looks good, and it looks cold in the east. We're about to.
If you go on Discord, I'm
to get
sharing
into
my
it.
screen now, so that's fixed for you.
Okay.
All the
thank you.
people at home are like, what is going on here? Don't worry. We had some upgrades after last week's streams. We had lots of folks tune in, tune out, and we had some upgrades. And we didn't really have a dress rehearsal for this, but with the way technology is in 2025, you don't really need one. We're not going to get frozen like it might be in West Virginia next week. I can't believe this. I mean, I've only lived in North Carolina a few years, but if you told me there's a chance of getting snow here next week, I'd call you crazy. But here we are. How about snow where you are?
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. I am starting to get questions from some clientele in the Houston area. Just they're hearing about a frontal passage and worried about frost, and not going to happen yet. It's going to be 85 here the next couple of days. So even if the temperatures were favorable, too much heat, soil temps will be too high. But things come in waves here. I think we were talking about this where, first front was last week, got another one this week, another one next week. As we get into late November, that's when there could be some frost down here. But and that's a heck of a look right there for the European day 5 and 6. I mean, widespread areas 20 to 30 below normal. But a big part of this, and it's not a total shock, is there is a tie-in between late season hurricane activity and early season winter activity. We've seen this the last several years that we've had big late season hurricanes. Melissa obviously didn't hit the U.S. area that still fits the mold to potentially drive the pattern early in the winter. So not the most shocking thing I have seen, but this depth of cold is very impressive for the time of year.
I'm making a poll in the chat right now. Thoughts on daylight savings time. Do you want the sun setting at 5, or do you want to drive home from work in the dark?
Are you asking me, or is that just you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I literally just started the poll, so you could be the first answer here. What would you rather have?
Oh yeah. I want to drive home in the dark. Is that assuming that we get later sunset? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's assuming that daylight savings time is year round. Yeah.
Yeah. I can live with it being. I don't drive anywhere for work in the morning, so I can live with it being dark in the morning. I prefer it not to be. It's kind of depressing late in the in the winter time. It's cold. Everything's dead. Oh, and it gets dark at 4:30. Like that's just not my thing.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into the meteorology here.
Yeah.
First, what do you want to talk about? Because there's a lot of things we can talk about. What do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, let's talk about the cold. We'll revisit Melissa and kind of the postpartum or postmortem.
Postpartum?
After the postmortem. That doesn't make sense. The postmortem of that, obviously devastating system last week. So let's start with what's happening now and happening here in the lower 48.
There's nothing going on this week, and at least anywhere east of California. That's because we got completely zonal flow at 500 millibars and a surface high right here next to my neck of the woods. So we're pretty quiet across the CONUS this week. There is an atmospheric river moving into Northern California, but I mean, this is how it looks right now. I guess it's raining in Portland and Seattle and Duluth, Minnesota, and that is it. Is that snow in Duluth? Not quite. Close. That 540 line is it's inching down.
Getting close.
But yeah, we are quiet through at least Thursday into Friday. Then you get some East Coast trying, and then you're going to get a where did that one go? Oh, yeah, you got a little shortwave here moving across the Great Lakes. Be kind of a nasty Wednesday, Thursday for Boston, New England. So it's kind of a parade of low-pressure systems, Garrett. You got number one. Here comes number two. Mm-hmm. Another one diving down from the Canadian province. Is this Alberta? Which one of these two is Alberta? Don't quiz me on Canadian geography. There's number two. There's your first faux frontal passage. Mm-hmm. Friday night into Saturday. And then here is number three. Your upper level low is here across the upper peninsula, and then your surface low is way east. So my dynamics professor said if there's one thing you take from this class, it's if you have a big westward tilt with height, you're going to get a bombing out of this area of low pressure at the surface. So that's kind of what happens, but they kind of don't really phase here. You get the upper level energy to dig way south, like ridiculously south for the second week of November across the Midwest. And that introduces some flurries from Flint, Michigan to Greensboro, North Carolina. This is next Monday night. And I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about this a little bit with the mid-latitude pattern with the hurricane. It was driving a big upper level low down into the southeast. The European at times has a tendency to do that, especially early in the year. If you go to 500 millibars, and yeah, there's a snowfall look. But even just going real quick to the 500 millibar look, mm-hmm. you can.
This is the ensemble.
You can see it, yeah. And that's the ensemble. Yeah, so that's a little bit more of a reasonable look. That actually looks more like the GFS. Obviously, the big change from last week, I guess, and this is something that I sent out to a few clients in a weekly update last week, is there's going to be basically a driveway or a street of low pressure systems that are going to track from southwest Canada just across the northern border into New England. Mm-hmm. You have a big broad-based trough in Canada. You have ridging underneath. There's going to be a pretty clear path of where these systems are going to track. The question is, do one of these next three amplify? And we are getting one that's going to amplify. And so is it going to do it all the way to the point where we're getting a big snowstorm yet? Probably not. What we are going to get is probably a big lake effect snow outbreak, a big higher elevation in the Alleghenies of Southwest PA into the Appalachians, orographic lift snow, northwesterly flow. I mean, it's a classic early season, heavy grapple, heavy snow,
heavy grapple
in some area. Yeah, heavy grapple. You get this all the time. You get the heavy grapple kind of in the central portions of Ohio, southern Ohio, where there's a lot of mixing in the atmosphere. More energy than what you'll see in January. So the snow belts of Michigan, Indiana. I mean, you're going to get a nuke. A nuke lake effect snow band coming off of Lake Michigan with a look of what we're seeing into next week. So if it holds, definitely the first lake effect snow outbreak of the season is possible.
This is the European ensemble average total snow 10-to-1 ratio. Probably about right for this. This is not a January type snow. You're going to get a really high ratio, really dry, lightly fluffy snow. But this has lake effect, as you mentioned, written all over it. You mentioned orographic lift. First of all, say that 5 times fast. And second of all, explain to the viewers what orographic lift is.
Yeah, so you get, air. Anytime air is rising, right, there's a potential for more precipitation. air rises, the parcel rises, it condensates, you can get precipitation. Well, there are multiple ways to make air rise, and one of the ways to do it is based off elevation. And so the elevation in eastern Kentucky and southern Ohio is, I mean, off the top of my head, what, I don't know, 800 to 1,000 feet maybe. But
there's a lot of hills in southeastern Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go southeast of Columbus, it gets real hilly real fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get into the Alleghenies of Southwest PA. So you get into Cambria County and Blair County. I'm naming off my localities here.
There you go.
Being from the area, those places get 100 inches of snow a year down into Garrett County, Maryland, and then where you're seeing this blue and stripe down into the hickories and the western portions of North Carolina and Virginia. You have the spine of the Appalachians, and so you have just the visual here. Air is moving at 800 feet, and then it goes up to 3,000, and the air goes up, condensates, produces its own, basically its own mini environment to have lift or a graphic lift, and then hence you will get precipitation to fall, and then you get on the kind of the far side. You'll get some downsloping, the opposite effect. You get sinking, less precipitation will fall. Where I am from in central Pennsylvania, we have something we call the Allegheny Blade, where you have higher elevation, the plateau. You get a lot of snow in these areas that are gray. In western Pennsylvania, southwestern Pennsylvania, just from this type of event, northwesterly flow. And then you get from State College, really I-99 on southeastward into Harrisburg, it'll flurry at best because that air is now sinking into the valley, and it has the opposite effect.
I love it.
So there's your video 101, I guess, for today.
Yes. It's pretty good. I mean, the operational Euros kind of flip back and forth. You're going to there's some pretty good agreement here on, downwind of Lake Michigan, southeast of Lake Michigan, South Bend, Valparaiso, northern Indiana. You could get a half a foot of snow here at least. There were a few runs with the Kuchera. I mean, that's close to 9 to 10 inches. Overall, the Kuchera, I think, Garrett's a better, because 10 to 1's flat. Yeah. I mean, you're just assuming at that point. Kuchera, right, especially, it's a little bit better. You'll have some fun videos coming out of Notre Dame or Valparaiso. Notre Dame's higher than Miami in the first college football playoff poll, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. I know you got preoccupied there with the text, but
sorry.
I'm going to say that again. Notre Dame is ranked higher than Miami in the first poll. Okay, I'm a little. Maybe it's because it's a 6Z. Let me extend this out. Yeah, you see there. You got some lake effect off of Erie. This is Ontario. Is this Ontario?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You live farther north now. You got to start getting your lakes down.
I lived in Columbus. All I cared about was Erie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Erie,
Huron, Superior, Ontario.
So I mean, your usual Buffalo, Twin Tiers, Ithaca. Some spots are going to get their first snow of the year. I mean, this is impressive in Columbus. 4 to 6 inches is impressive in January in Central Ohio. In mid-November, people are going to lose their minds. That's kind of interesting. Like it's like a clipper. It really is kind of like an early season clipper in a lot of ways. It's just a powerful one, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you get an upper level low feature that cuts off. It's able to sustain itself a little bit. You get a relative increasing in moisture aloft, which this time of year is way more than, like I said, what you would see in January. And so you can get some local enhancement. This would be a pretty interesting way to get 5 inches into Columbus, I would say. We'll see. Usually you're getting some sort of Gulf tapping, of moisture and something coming from the west, southwest, or the southwest. But, we'll see. What does the GFS have? Can you go to the GFS? Sure.
That's a 12Z. Just started. Hey, how about the time change? How about the models coming in an hour earlier now?
Way early. Yeah.
It's all lake effect. I mean, you don't have much anything north of. You have nothing south of I-70.
Even low.
Yeah, it doesn't. Do we remind the audience what the GFS did with Melissa this time last week? I guess a little bit before this time last week.
It was as bad of a performance as I've ever seen. So
it's not
makes you call
family
into
friendly
question
what
everything
I
it'll do.
call the
No.
GFS. So
No,
we're going to leave
not
that
at
for
all.
off stream, that nickname.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put that in the outtakes.
How about the AI? The Euro AI. Okay, I mean that's a lot.
I mean,
in
the AI actually
994.
it actually has a synoptic event versus something that's more lake effect driven. If you loop it through a little farther back, it actually drives. It has that low, you know, farther south. You can see that the 1,008 millibar barbs. That is that
It's a
would
Colorado
be
low, really, almost.
really you would get it, and you have that area, that shortwave of energy coming through the Dakotas and just south of really the mean trough. And so if you go to the precip look, you're going to see probably a shield on the northwest side. Yep, through Iowa, you loop it through. Yeah, I mean that's a classic, just band of moderate to heavy snow coming right through the just north of the I-80 corridor.
It's almost, yeah, it's really not that dissimilar from a typical Alberta clipper that you'd find in January, except the thing about when I worked in Raleigh here for TV, it was always, do you have the cold air? Do you have the cold air that's here? To get a mid-November snow for Ohio, it's the same kind of idea. You need cold air already in place. If this was January, the first fropa maybe could produce snow. And there is a real chance we could see a few flurries here, and I cannot believe that. We did break the record for the longest snowless drought, like 1,200 days with no snow in Raleigh.
When did you last year? Was that last year that you broke that record?
Yeah, we got.
You snowed last year several times.
It snowed 3 different times. Yeah, most it snowed in like 8 years.
What did you guys get total?
4.6, I want to say. Don't ask me how I know
what's
that
average.
specific
What's
number.
average there?
Right around that. Average. Well, we used to average like 6 or 7 inches a year, and now it's steadily going down over time. Madison says biggest snow hater for being. Yeah, well, there you go. Madison's a snow hater.
Yeah, our Jason, our CEO, moved to the mountains farther north to see snow. So
Withville is probably going to get some snow.
Oh yeah,
he is downwind of the mountains. He's on the what is it? The leeward side of the mountains.
Yeah,
but
still, it'll be, it may not get as much as areas farther west, but it's going to snow there for sure.
It is worth mentioning that this pattern is not going to last forever. There's going to be this is a pretty progressive pattern. So yeah, you get a giant bowling ball of cold air the first half of the week, but by the time you get to even Thursday, I'm thinking we've got some highs above average already. Yeah, starting to return along the Mississippi. And it looks like there's going to be
and then it comes. Yeah, then it kind of bursts through.
There's your cold air first half of the week. Yesterday's 12Z run actually flipped it a little sooner than this. There likely will be a quick early fall, this is what? This is back to 20 degrees above average. So you could go from being in the 20s to being in the 70s in the span of about 5 days in the Midwest next week. Let's look at the ensemble here. A little bit of a smoother look. It's about the same. Looks like you'll get a West Coast trough and then an East Coast ridge for that week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's a pretty, Monday morning, kind of broadening out. Obviously everyone talks about the snow, but from just like, an agronomy perspective and a business perspective for a lot of these golf courses, Monday and Tuesday morning, you may get frost and freeze potential all the way down to the Gulf Coast.
Let's look at
which
that.
Is very impressive for this time of year.
This is your probability of surface temperatures getting to or below the freezing mark. It's even a little. It's actually even worse Tuesday morning. This is Tuesday, 7 a.m. Eastern, and you've got you got even a 10 to 20% chance of that freezing line getting down all the way to the Panhandle by next Tuesday morning. The growing season is effectively over. It already is over in the Ohio Valley, but it's going to be over in the Tennessee Valley first part of next week, maybe even here in the eastern half of the Carolinas, definitely over in the mountains. It's been over in the mountains. Atlanta, guaranteed just about to hit the freezing mark next week. Fun stuff, said no one ever.
Yeah.
Get your winter coats out on November 11th.
It's coming. It is coming. And then by Wednesday, appears to lift out for the most part.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Carolinas, Mid-Atlantic still impacted, but less probability, and areas farther to the south and west kind of get into that transient southwesterly flow pattern that you were talking about. That will replace what we are about to deal with here for the next 5 days. So bundle up, throw the Mariah Carey on, get the Christmas music going.
No, I'm ending the live stream. You think we?
That was
you
it?
think
That's your bar?
that's the trigger right there.
Wow.
I had something come up in my flashback 1 year ago yesterday. We were having a crosstalk at the desk in my news days about Christmas, about this exact topic. When is it okay to play Christmas music? What's your answer?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's typically after Thanksgiving, but since moving to Texas, everybody is on to the next holiday. It's on. First of all, everybody does it big. Like Halloween is. I've never seen a bigger, display of Halloween spirit than in Southeast Texas. But November 1st, those decorations were coming down and Christmas lights were going up across the board down here. So I don't know. I might be starting to get shifted to early November versus it being after Thanksgiving. I won't decorate my house until probably after Thanksgiving. I will say I'm not going to hate on anybody who wants to get it going early. So
Okay.
if I'm going to leave my tree up till February, I can't hate on people who want to get it going, in early November.
Madison says after Thanksgiving. I said Black Friday. That's when the lights can go up. That's when the music can come on. Black Friday. She said the Christmas lights are already out where she is. Wow. Listen, I respect it. They're already playing commercials now with the jingles. So.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I get it.
You got it. I mean, it's what sells, right? It's marketing. So it's marketing.
You know that well. Waiting for the GFS to come in here. Look at the little US 20 corridor in Iowa. Look at that little couple inches. And you've been to Waterloo, Cedar Falls, Iowa. Have you been there? Great towns.
I've been to Des Moines and Iowa City.
Okay.
I have not been to Waterloo or Cedar Rapids. Is it Cedar Falls or
Cedar Falls? That's where UNI
Cedar
is.
Falls.
Northern Iowa.
Remember
when they upset Kansas about 10 years ago?
I do, with Ali Faroukmanesh. I do remember.
I love it.
Yeah, college basketball started on Monday. All in, got 2 or 3 guys coached in high school playing on TV now. It's a lot of fun watching them, and season's getting rolling. That's when you're approaching winter. We're getting into basketball season now. NBA starts so early, but college that's when you can start getting into the heart of winter. So I remember many a time at Penn State walking through very cold winter conditions into the Bryce Jordan Center to watch some mediocre basketball times. But I digress, Dave.
No problem. I think we should touch on hurricane season real fast while we wait for the GFS to finish. First of all, no tropical cyclone activity expected in the next week. Somebody I saw posted this morning that the GFS actually perked up a little bit in Caribbean development. Let's look at the GFS first. I don't remember if it was the 6Z or the 0Z. Well, there's not a whole. Okay, there's a few members on the
Yeah,
6Z. There's a few more members after that. Did the 0Z have more? About the same. Let's look at the Euro. Two members. Two members. I think the season's over, Garrett. Maybe I'll be proved wrong.
Yeah.
The GFS has this bias, as we know, in the Caribbean. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we could see. I think we could see one more, and it would turn right into Belize and Central America. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. Anything that does get up into the Gulf would get shredded as soon as it goes through the Yucatan Channel.
Yeah.
We saw this last year with the R storm, I believe. I forget. It was a Cat 3 entering the Gulf, and it actually it died by the time it got to about 93 west. So this time of year, unless they are getting escorted out to the northeast like Melissa did, and getting to a favorable baroclinic zone, that's why you're not seeing any of these deepen. You're not going to get anything that's going to impact the U.S. per se. You could get something way down deep in the Southwest Caribbean that buries itself into Central America. That's where I would put my money on, versus something that is actually impactful.
I want whatever this member had to drink this morning.
Another 920, sub 920.
What are we
could
doing
show
here?
I don't know, but we could show what's about to happen in the Western Pacific.
Yeah, I don't follow the
Anybody
Western
wants,
Pacific
I
at
can.
all. But I guess, are you a big Westpac guy?
I'm really not, but anytime I'm seeing hurricane models showing 870 millibars on anything, I start
is this
to
the one?
perk up some. Yep. So is this in Gus? Is this in miles per hour?
This is Gus. Yeah, let me go to pressure.
Keep that on there real quick, Dave.
Sure.
Don't change it. Go back. Go backwards, I think.
There's a 190.
Go-
This is
Go
Gus
back
again.
forwards. This is Gus, but there was a ridiculous number I just saw. If you continue to go, I think forward. Keep going. Nope, go back. Sorry. Good camera work right here. Good streaming. No,
Nothing.
maybe it was a different.
Is it
Maybe
half
you had it
speed?
in. You changed it from kilometers an hour. I saw like a 248 number, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't losing my mind.
Yeah, this is kilometers. And just so the YouTube chat this is halfway around the world. This is probably going to hit
This is
land.
nothing we're dealing with.
To be honest, what is this? The Philippines? I don't even know where we're looking.
Yes. That's the Philippines.
I just don't really care about the Eastern Pacific. I don't know. If we have viewers in the Philippines, I will start to care about the Eastern Pacific. But
Dave, the weather that happens over there impacts what happens here.
you're right.
So, fun fact.
Here we go.
These two, a big reason why, and it's not the reason why, but a big tell as to how we have a good idea that we're not going to see sustained troughing in about 10 to 15 days is both of these hurricanes. So you had one go through straight west into Vietnam, and this one's going to go straight west as well. If both of these were recurving typhoons, we would have a high degree of confidence about 10 to 15 days down the road. There'd be a lot of troughing and cold air in the east. Because that gets inserted up into the mid latitudes, and the jet cause a lot of perturbations. You end up getting troughing in the eastern portions of the U.S. But because these are just moving straight west, that tends to favor more in the way of ridging in the central and eastern U.S. about 10 to 15 days down the road. So when we talk about teleconnections or things that impact the weather downstream, typhoon activity absolutely does that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oops. The more you know. I don't know much about this at all, honestly. About the Eastern. I just don't follow the Western Pacific much at all. But you do, and at least somebody does.
A little bit. I don't, not entirely. Depends. It depends. And especially when the season is dead in the U.S., like you just kind of look at it for eye candy at that point.
Yeah. As the GFS.
But we wanted to touch on Melissa real quick.
Do we want to? Yeah. A little bit more interesting in the 12Z GFS.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What do you want to
Yeah.
touch on?
Lake
You want
effect
to look
snow
at some
outbreak.
video? What do you want to do?
Take a look at what is that there. I think Noah might have been tweeting it out. The ability to see the like the flyover views.
Oh yeah.
And we talked about Black River a lot. And you're able to get some pretty dramatic visual as to just what we were describing on air as the system was coming through. Kind of get things go dark for a while, and now we're getting all this video and information coming out just about truly how bad it was in that area. So much. The thing that struck me, Dave, has been the unbelievable vegetation loss through the western portions of the island. Pretty incredible.
I'm trying to find it on this separate screen here. Here's some video from the typhoon, one of the typhoons. In the Philippines. This is crazy.
Gosh. Yeah, that's incredible.
It's kind of crazy how much the news cycle just moved on from Melissa.
Yeah. It didn't happen in the U.S., so that's kind of your barometer, I guess. You're going to get a Cat 5 or the Cat 5 equivalent go into the Philippines, and you probably won't get a story about it. Aside from a weather, this is a pretty incredible view. It's amazing how it just it was just sheared mess for 4 days, and then as soon as it gets its center underneath it and aligned, it just takes off.
Let me just look at that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. So what the GFS is this 12Z?
This is 12Z, yep. Got your good lake effect here. There's no doubt about that. This is the time of the year when living in Cleveland, Ohio is not much fun. Unless you like cold,
Not at all.
snow, and clouds.
Not at all. It's a very cloudy place that time of year, especially into the we talk about the orographic lift. Even on days that you don't get precipitation, it leads to higher than normal levels of cloudiness. Mm-hmm. Speaking of cloudiness,
what a segue.
Gosh. Yeah,
Most powerful hurricane in our lifetime by central pressure. If you want to measure by wind speed, it's tied, but the gravity waves.
At least in '05, yeah.
Emanating from this is just unbelievable.
Wild. So what do we got? What do we got coming up, Dave? What do we got?
In terms of content?
In terms of content, what do we got on tap for?
How does this look?
Coming from your neck of the woods.
Well, we might do some live streaming coverage for the snow next week. We'll see. It looked a couple days ago like this could stretch all the way to the I-95 corridor, and then we would definitely do some live coverage.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. These early season snow events usually downtrend. I mean, if we're being honest here.
Right.
It'll probably be somewhere between the GFS and the Euro. If we look at the GFS 12Z, the American model 12Z snow totals, all this is lake effect. I mean, you've got a dusting across I-70 from Indianapolis to Dayton to Columbus. Well, I'm not even showing my screen. There's your dusting from Indy, Dayton, Sebus, even up I-71 towards Cleveland. But then once you get close to Erie, then you've got your lake effect. So we'll see. We're going to cover this with our video that we made Monday. Picked up pretty well past day or so. We got about 10,000 views on that one. So people are clearly excited about winter coming, either excited or resentful, either one of the two. People love the first snowfall, of course, though. So we'll cover that. I think hurricane season's over. We'll see. The next name is Nestor, which is an interesting name. Good name. November, Garrett, usually the quietest month of the year. It's kind of the doldrums before winter. We're going to be nonstop at Flash from about December until June. So, we got winter weather, and then severe season the past couple of years has started early. We've always gotten a start in February or March, and that is when we're going to have some of our new toys to play with. I like toys.
Yeah. We got some good toys coming out. We'll keep it on the DL for right now, but there's some things that we'll be able to roll out for the severe weather season. And there are some early signs that the general pattern will be favorable for for us going into even as early as February through April and May for this upcoming tornado and severe weather season. So obviously a few months away, but we can already look at ocean temperatures. We can already look at kind of what the general pattern won't be too dissimilar from what we've seen in previous years, as we still kind of sit in a weak La Nina. And, that tends to have, some favorable impacts from the storm's perspective, I guess, unfavorable if you are coming from not wanting to have any tornado activity, I guess. But for our sake and content producing and being able to have coverage, I think we'll be able to have some coverage of some severe weather events as we get into the, as early as February and into the springtime.
Got some folks a lot smarter than us, at least a lot smarter than me, working on our new toys. Here's your dad's take.
More smarter than me, Dave. More smarter than me.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah.
For 3 decades, Big Joe Bastardi has pointed out a systemic problem in numerical physics-based models where they try to accelerate Vort into the westerlies. I'm not going to read the caps part yelling. There is a systemic problem with feedback, Garrett. Your thoughts?
I'm surprised you didn't put at the end, thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the GFS over the Northeast and at 18Z starts to correct. Same thing kept happening. Yeah, I mean, a big part of it, it's, he's talking about Melissa. It's the same thing. It's feedback, right? It wants to hand energy off. That we talk about the westerlies, the general flow in the mid latitudes moves from west to east, so the flow is westerly, and the physics based models, especially the GFS, this wants to take the energy that's in a trough, which is a anomaly versus the general pattern, and throw it up into the jet stream, and it kind of flattens things out. When it flattens things out and becomes progressive, so you can kind of see the trough is kind of leaning to the right versus being a little bit more stacked vertically north to south. What happens then is you get typically weaker storms, or for the East Coast perspective during the winter, storms that are more out to sea, bringing less impact. We saw this Boxing Day blizzard 2010. The GFS was just out to sea, and then last second, it did not hand off energy. It kind of rolled up on itself, big upper level low, big bowling ball it looked like, and you had a blizzard, one of the historic blizzards in the I-95 corridor. So that's what he's
So
talking about: handing off vorticity, handing off spin energy into the westerlies.
this is a good graph here. This is model performance. The red line is the European model, the green line is the Canadian model, and the black line is the American model over the past, looks like, month. At 5 days, forecast hour 120. It is pretty evident here that, and this is no secret, that especially over the past couple of weeks, the left side is correlation coefficient. So how accurate is it? It's the y-axis. This is sciencey, Garrett, but it shows us that proves what we know. The European model outperforms the American model pretty consistently. And even the Canadian model, the blue line is above the black line for most of these days, which is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, and especially the fact that, like, you know, it's a broader discussion. We can maybe do a whole entire stream or podcast on this, but like, what are we spending our resources on, you know, from a modeling perspective and development? And that's why Flash is, you know, an important entity, and why, you know, it's important that we do what we do, because, you know, the biggest resource out there is the federal government, and they have control over the general modeling schema, if you will, and the physics behind it, and where they want to pour their resources. And they don't necessarily want to pour it into medium range and long range forecasting. A lot of climate related stuff, sometimes some short range stuff, which we need. But this is in my mind unacceptable, but it's acceptable to some folks, and not acceptable to Flash. You know, that's why we're always trying to push, you know, and bring the brightest minds on and roll out stuff. We're not comfortable with being second place, especially when, you know, we pour resources into our models and we make them good. You know, we as taxpayers pay a lot of money to throw money at these models, and to be last in that way. You know, Dave, I just think of, like, what if Melissa was 300 miles farther west, right? Mm-hmm. And all it kept doing was shooting, the GFS kept shooting a strung out Melissa northeast of Cuba, versus the European and other models having, you know, a category 5 north of Cuba, or in the southwest or the southeast Gulf of America. Like, what the embarrassment it would be for our flagship model to be having that performance. It was embarrassment as it is. I mean, it was just unbelievable how bad it was. But all that to say, you know, it's an opportunity for others, because we don't see this change. This has been going on as long as you and I have been watching models.
Yep.
And it will continue to go on.
Yep.
And I don't foresee big changes. You know, I don't see, you know, the GFS having its, and the government really working on its AI suite. I see the ECMWF doing that. Private entities are doing that. So it is what it is. You know, we can keep yelling, you know, to my dad's point on X, you know, he loves to, and I say this lovingly, he loves to yell into the ether on X, and he's right a lot of the times. Like, we've been yelling at it for years. So nothing's
old man
change.
yells at cloud. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, and it's right. Sometimes the old man yelling at the cloud is right. So.
Alrighty, what is it? 11:15 on the East Coast, 10:15 in southeastern Texas. The content team will be busy the next week or so. A little break, if you will, after Melissa, as expected, but. Death count is up to 85 in the Philippines from that typhoon Kalmeji. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But that's a higher death count than I think what's being reported in Jamaica from Melissa. So,
which is incredible.
Yeah, and there's another one coming right behind Kalmeji. So we've got some fun toys coming at Flash, and snow days. I love snow days. I should change my name to Snow Day Dave.
Snow days. Yeah. Wish there was snow days in professional life.
Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast.
Yeah.
Anything else, Garrett? What do you want? You got stuff to do, I think you said. You got to be productive.
Yeah. We got just shot a hour-long podcast with Superintendent Network, who's in Turf Today, who's a great partner of Flash. Really cool content, just talking about my experience at the U.S. Open, and Brian, who helps run Superintendent Network. We were both at the U.S. Open in golf this past year. Just our experience there, among a whole host of things. Just talking about kind of my background a little bit, but then also Flash and where we're going with the app. They love the app. Download it if you haven't already, if you're watching or you watch the stream. But yeah, gotta go into work mode here after doing 2 media obligations in the morning. So
there's the app. There's the QR code. You can't see it because you're just seeing the GFS. Anyways, Garrett, thanks for coming on, as always.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
And we'll do it again next Wednesday. We're going to start Flash. What's it called? Spotlight. We're going to start Flash Spotlight here by the end of the year. We're going to. Do you want to be interviewed by Garrett or me? Call us. Contact us. DM us. Slide in our DMs. All right. Here comes winter. November is. I just have such mixed feelings about November, man. I don't know. It is what it is.
Could be a boring month.
Yeah. All right, Garrett.
Could be. Could not be.
Well, we get snow in New York City. That's not boring, but the GFS says you'll be lucky to get lake effect. So we'll see.
We'll see. All right, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Thank
right,
you, brother.
We'll see you next time. Ladies and gentlemen on the YouTube, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.